radio transmission now. We are
It's Mountain Dew.
live.
I swear,
It
it's
is
Mountain
Mountain
Dew.
Dew.
Woo!
It
It
is
is.
Mountain Dew. Hey there,
Yeah.
Andrew. Hey, Dunick. Radio transmission
Turbines to
now.
speed,
We are
atomic
It's Mountain
batteries to
Dew.
power.
I swear. Put the pedal to the metal, Captain.
Woo-hoo!
What was that? Galaxy Quest.
Yes, we are live. It is Plausible Deniability. It's
Pedal the
Thursday
metal
night.
thing to the floor.
It's Thursday night. All you
Yes.
plausible deniabilityers come. No, that doesn't sound right.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Johnny Payne. Over there on the mic, we've got
Michael Cross.
Mike. I'll never call you Mike again. And with the fantastic hair,
It's Johnny Payne. No, you mean me. Second best hair, Brook Bullock. Woo!
it always depends on how long it's been since I've gotten a haircut. That's all it comes down to.
I need
That's
a
all.
haircut really badly.
I switched hair product. I'll have to tell you about it later. It does a
Oh,
resistance.
now it's all flying away.
You look great, Michael, especially that
No, I-
sword behind you. Always looks like it's
I know,
stuck in your head.
Right in the yes,
If we can pull the sword out of Michael Cross's head, we become king
yes.
of the show.
I love it.
All right. So what are you guys up to?
Later, it's been Tuesday. Tuesday was 4 days long, and now it's Thursday, and so I'm super excited about that.
Right. Yeah. Hey, did you guys notice it snowed last night here in Oklahoma in the metro?
I did not actually. I didn't get to
Yeah,
see
you were
that 'cause
asleep.
I was asleep. But I got up this morning and driving in at 2:00 in the morning, and there were moments I hit like overpasses, bridges, and I started
Yeah.
to slide. I'm like,
Ooh.
oh, this is going to be a little bit later in the morning. Apparently, it was. There were a lot of accidents out there. So
I
Yeah.
was like, I don't think I checked the mail today, and I stuck my head out the door at like 8:30, and yeah, snow. Hold on. So Andrew Sheffy,
What?
the
Yes.
good, the bad, and the ugly.
yeah,
For those of you who don't remember our last episode of Plausible Deniability, we played Trivial Pursuit, D&D Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah.
And I said the first person to answer the next question, I'm going to put you into the Tales of Ironwood when I have the DM chair. That's coming up.
that's right.
Woo.
That's
coming
right.
up.
We're
And
recording
it
that
was
this Sunday.
Andrew who won. So be on the lookout for that. I've got a great plan. I don't know if I shared it with either of you yet, but I've shared it with a few people who were like, that's going to be funny.
Yes,
Because I'm a funny guy. I do funny. Huh?
you
Oh,
do.
yeah. That's okay.
You do. Which
This
it yes.
was it this week's outtakes whenever you finally were able to slip in some names in the thing? I think so. And that was great.
Oh,
What kind of
me?
production is this? It was great. It was
Yeah.
great.
Oh, right.
Well, and
Yeah.
I loved it, but I think it was also this week when you tried to slip in plausible deniability a couple times.
For
I'm
the
just going to
second
try it every
time.
week. I decided when I'm in the DM chair, it's coming out. I'm going to slip that in. Plausible deniability. Oh, man, that was a
Plausible
tough one.
deniability.
I'm just going to read the definition of it out loud on the mic in the middle of combat. Yeah. That's how that one's
Great.
gonna
Your
go.
time in the DM chair is some guy with a dictionary in the library. And so we.
Yep. Turn to page 1. Aardvark.
But if anybody can do it, it definitely includes these two guys that are around me. So
And we finally
have-
finished with an encounter with a zebra.
Aiden, don't
we
get
have
caught.
coming up in a couple of episodes, ladies and gentlemen, we have perhaps one of the best sessions since, let's say, episode 69 or 70 of campaign 1. It will leave your you'll leave your jaw on the floor.
It is.
like
Yes.
it
It is so much
was
fun.
the most amazing thing that Michael Cross did, and everybody at the table just went and then
Yeah.
bought in 100%. I
And
cannot
Michael
wait
made it
in
so
2 weeks
effortless
to share
for
it.
all of us to just buy into it, and it became ensemble and was just like, holy crap, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, It was great. I cannot wait for you guys to get to hear it.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was
excited
awesome.
about finishing because we only got halfway through, so I'm really excited about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that'll be something that we can catch on the roundtable
Yep.
in
Sunday
what,
Sunday morning.
2 more weeks until roundtable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So roundtable recording on Sunday, but then 2 weeks until roundtable pops out for folks.
3
Or
weeks.
3
weeks.
3 weeks.
Because we just launched one last week.
I think that's true.
I think I want to say that, but that seems weird. But yes, because 13 just launched. So it'll be right after episode 16 launches. So about three more weeks.
Very excited.
3 weeks.
So hey, I got trivia. You guys want to do trivia?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's
D&D
do it.
trivia. Everybody out there, get ready for D&D trivia. I know.
Have Google open.
That's right. Now, no cheating, Johnny. And we'll see if we can get the people we got. Who we got? Andrew, Connor. We got Aiden's out there trying not to get busted.
Right.
Hey, if everybody at Aiden's work is watching this, that's great. That's fantastic. Spread it out.
Sweet.
Spread the love.
Can we give a shout out for that, or do we need to not?
Oh, I don't know.
Will we out him if we say, hey?
By the way, this is where he's working.
Live at the Bootlick Theater.
Okay, so let's start with what we got. We got magic and miscellany. Magic and miscellany.
I like it.
By the way, before we get started with this, Token Con. Token
Yeah.
Con. We're going to be at Token Con, and we're going to have a Trivial Pursuit game. We're going to have this Trivial Pursuit game at Token Con Friday night of that weekend. So come down. Maybe you'll win a Red Dirt D&D prize. We don't know yet. But we are going to be asking questions. Going to be doing it like a talk show style. So it'll be a lot of fun. So we'll have a lot of fun with that. So come down to Token Con Friday night. Saturday, we're doing a kind of how to be a DM with the Red Dirt D&D cast. And then on Sunday, it's an actual Q&A with the cast. We've already got this planned out. We're really excited about it. Come see us at Token Con, which is March
17, 18, 19.
17, 18, 19.
17, 18, 19. I think so. Yep. It, I think 2 years ago or maybe 3 years ago was probably wasn't 3. It was probably 2. 2 years ago was my first time to go to Token Con, and don't tell SoonerCon, but it might be might be my favorite one. It's just so many games, so much things you can play.
Games.
They're both. Oh, it's just fantastic. It is.
I fell in love with my wife at Token Con, so
There
ultimate
you
prize
go.
right there. You know, I mean, hey.
There you go. So
So anyway,
Love you, babe.
so here we go. So magic and miscellany. I just want to pop that in there. Okay. The question is, what is the name of the magic horseshoes that, when affixed to a steed, allow it to move 4 inches above the ground?
wow.
I don't even know the answer to this one.
Horseshoes of inches. Next
Horseshoes
question.
of 4 horseshoes. The 4 horseshoes of the. No, wait a minute.
Man,
If it's only wearing 3, is it 3 inches?
It is 4 inches above the ground. Yeah, and so far we have no answers, but of course there is a
Delay.
little
There's
delay.
a slight lag. So
There is
there's a slight lag.
talk amongst yourselves.
This may. Andrew has a great guess just from Greek. That might be on track.
Floaty
Shoes
horsey
of
shoes.
levitation. I
They're
like
called Pegasus Valkyrie Horseshoes of Zephyr.
I like the floaty horsey shoes. Horseshoes of the
Floaty horsey
Zephyr is what Andrew is saying. So let's go with, dude, Andrew. Horseshoes of a Zephyr is correct. That is very, very good. Yay, Andrew.
Aiden's is the better answer.
I know, the
But
floaty
Andrew's
horsey
is the
shoes.
correct answer.
Which if I ever get any, that's what I'm going to call them. They're going to be the floaty horsey shoes.
Floaty horsey shoes.
Yes.
Does anyone remember in Kroll the fire runners or the horses that when they ran they had the fire hooves and that made them fly over land or they fly. They flew on their own fire.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So here we go.
That's like not having your carburetor set right. That's just like a backfire exhaust problem. So
yeah, I don't know what was it that made the fire allowed them to fly, but they did.
It was little explosions each time. It was bang.
That's
bang.
what happens in my car. That's what they tell me. I don't believe them, but that's what they tell me. Is there's little explosions going on in my car that makes it go forward.
Horseshoes.
Andrew basically says Gaz needs those, and I'm wondering if for that horse or just for Gaz himself.
That would be awesome. Gaz.
If you turn on the manacles.
Yes, I could put horseshoes on my feet and run and rage.
The fight with the Dust Devils would have been so different.
Yes.
Guys
all right. History.
Ridiculous, and I love you.
History.
Who created the Forgotten Realms?
I think I have a really good guess.
Yeah, we'll see who can get this first.
I'm staying out of it for the chat, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I know
Creator,
it too.
The artist.
I almost hit the buzzer.
You know, the actual reason for Drist was when because the author of that book, who's not the author of but they had created the Forgotten Realms, and they needed to populate it, and so they asked R.A. Salvatore to create this, and that he created it for that. He was only the second book of the Forgotten Realms, and the first book was also not written by him. Andrew got it. Aiden got it first. Aiden got it first. Look at that. Aiden got it
first. Might have slipped in first, just taking him by the.
Yep.
Ed Greenwood had created it, and TSR was going to try and make stories for it. And so they wrote one book, which took place in the Moonshae Isles. Douglas, I can't remember his name. Actually, Douglas, I think it was his last name. But
yes.
And then they needed another book. And so they went to R.A. Salvatore, and he created Drist for the Forgotten Realms. And, of course, the rest is truly history.
Yeah.
A little bit of
somewhere in there, I'm sure it was the Sword Coast.
Yeah, and everything is Sword Coast.
I had this. Everything is Sword Coast. I miss Elminster. We need to bring Elminster back. I'm bringing him back.
Somebody said they spotted him in the trailer for D&D.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's an unnamed wizard in the background somewhere,
you've been.
That's right.
If
there is a wizard, an old-looking wizard.
Well, the Red Wizards of Thay are they're going there.
Yeah,
they can easily do Elminster with the Red Wizards of Thay.
Yeah, and I think you're absolutely right. If there's a wizard in the background that looks like Elminster, but they never name him, hey, he's going to be Elminster to me. So,
Red Wizards of Thay, Cult of the Dragon, it's going to be great.
Next thing you know, he's going to be pulling up a chair at the end of the leaves of the last tome and throwing people into a fireplace. I don't know.
All right. Orange monsters. What is the name for the deformed evil giants that live in the Underdark and can afflict enemies with the evil eye?
Canadians.
Oh, yeah, don't you know? We're just going to go bring you over here, and the evil eye is just going to be all over the place. It's just going to be a mess down here in the Underdark, eh?
If those Canadians weren't such nice people, we would have just ostracized an entire nation. Half of them speak French and have no idea what we're saying anyways, but they're watching.
Some of my favorite people are Canadians.
I want Drugar to now have that accent. Drugar, dark dwarves should have
Zerfneblins with like polite manners and donuts.
That tracks because they're one of the races in the Underdark that's not evil.
They
are
right.
So Canadians are not evil. That would be great.
Oh, you look like you stumbled up on Menzo Brands, and they're sorry about that.
Okay. Why don't you guys just come on in here and you're just going to take off a few clothes there. It's going to be a little clothes for you. Don't worry about that, okay? All right.
You need a rest.
I love the Canadians.
Mr. Cross, could you read the question, please? Because I forgot what it was.
Well, okay, that's right. We actually haven't had the answer, have we? What
Yeah.
is have we had the answer? Has anyone said it? What is the name
don't
of
think
for the deformed evil giants that live in the Underdark and can afflict enemies with the evil eye? Have we gotten an answer yet? We got the Duergar, but those are dwarves.
Right.
There are fire giants, but I don't think they actually do say they live in the Underdark. And I cannot even think of who this might be. I can't think of any giants in the Underdark.
My only guess, and I know it's wrong, is Cyclops, but I know that's not correct.
Yeah.
But
they live in the Underdark and can afflict enemies with the evil eye. And I mean,
Hulk.
What's that?
I don't know. Umber Hulks.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking maybe it was, but those aren't giants, and
but they're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
And
giants,
of course
they're
they don't.
abominations, aren't they?
It's not actually. It's not actually capitalized. Giants is not actually capitalized.
Yeah.
So it could be like giant monsters. Although, so they're maybe not talking about an actual.
Okay.
Let's see if Andrew's right.
Andrew's
Flip
got
it over.
Yugers, Einzers. The actual answer is, oh my gosh, come on, folks. It's Fomorians.
Oh!
Fomorians.
Not giants,
No.
but
Doesn't even have the word giant in it.
not giants, capital G.
Go get your money back for that game.
But they are Fomorians are giants. So they are actually the category of giant. All right, Dungeons and Adventures. Dungeons and Adventures. What fallen angel?
Temple of Elemental Evil.
Yes. What fallen angel chained the city of Elturel to the first layer of the 9 hells in Baldur's Gate descent into Avernus?
Avern.
This one most people should probably know because that's a more current adventure, only about 3 or 4 years old.
It's a pretty
Which
healthy
is actually
lag.
the reason why
Yeah.
I don't know it. Anyway, what was that, JP?
Aiden, right off the bat, boom, got it. Zerial.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Zariel.
Zerial, Zerial, maybe, I don't know. We all call it
Tomato.
Zerial.
Zariel.
Yeah.
Poor Andrew. Aiden has the faster internet access tonight for
I
some
think
reason.
yes.
He's typing on his phone.
And so he's just, it's like, bada boom.
Yeah,
Bada-boom.
and he's doing that on his phone. So he's a Gen Z. He's typing away on his NZ. That's on his phone. That's what it is. I can't type that fast on my phone. I had the phone. Did you guys ever have the phone, the one that flipped out and you had the keyboard on it?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
no,
love
not-
that one.
My ran
BlackBerry or
Windows.
anything.
I loved that one. Oh, so much fun. And I was typing that before the answer was finished. That's my boy. Good for you.
Has anyone in the chat or here, has anyone played Descent?
Yeah,
into
we only played it for about
Avernus yet.
halfway through, and then our Friday night group kind of got might have been the plague. Was it because of the plague that we stopped playing? I can't remember.
I don't like the idea of cars in D&D, so I kind of stayed away from that one.
The Hellfire engines. We actually did have a really cool race in that thing. That was a lot of fun. So, okay, characters.
Brook.
Characters. Bakran. Okay. In the Dungeons and Dragons animated series, Presto wears robes and a pointed hat of what color? What color are Presto's robe
I know.
and hat?
I know this one.
I don't 100% know, but I think I know.
Hey, there's Hal. Being an old man.
I had the phone where you had to lift the receiver and make sure your neighbors were. Oh my gosh!
Nick. So
Same.
Hal, I had the phone
Same.
that the cord wasn't detachable from the phone,
Uh-huh.
and it was rotary. And when you plugged it in, it was 4 prongs that went into a circle of 4 holes. That's the phone I had in
Yes.
my bedroom as a kid growing up.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Dunic in the house.
Dunic's got
I
it.
know that dude.
Dunic does not have it. The actual
I know
first
who-
answer, the correct answer, and only because I'm going to say, Aiden, you had a question mark. I'm going to go with
It
Hal.
was Hal. Hal had the
got it.
confidence. He went strong.
Hal got it. And yeah, it was a good guess, Aiden. That is green. Green is the answer. And that was Presto's colors there. They were all kind of 80s bright colors.
Yep.
The
Yep.
80s, you know. Okay.
Can you imagine, like, in 20 years, is someone going to be playing another version of this, where instead of asking questions about the Saturday morning D&D cartoon, they're going to be like, in the first season of Vox Machina,
Yeah.
who
There'll
who
be
was who was Scanlan banging when they got the quest to go?
Yeah.
It'll happen.
You know, they're going to have expansion sets, and I'm just going to dream big. One of those might have, like, you know, a red dragon on the front of it. I'm just going to dream big and have, you know, the Oklahoma podcast expansion set.
We'll get to that show. By the way, are you guys all caught up with that Critical Role with the Legend of Vox Machina? Of course, they got new episodes dropping tomorrow. But
Season 1, 100%, but season 2, no, not yet. So,
oh, it's so good.
but,
We have to have
but
an
you
end
guys can
season
go.
recap.
You guys can go full
Season 2
speed.
is-
I will not mind.
Season 2's almost turned into a musical. They've already had 2 songs in it.
Oh, so amazing! You see, at the credits when they were doing, making our way. It's
Yeah.
a thing when you watch the show. Anytime someone said, you've heard me say it. I'm sure you've edited me out many times. Go, I'm making our way. Yeah.
Yes, I have. I have edited you out of that saying it many times.
Yours because it breaks
I don't have
copyright.
to take
Brooks
this.
because it's just bad.
All right. Final question.
Go.
Final question. Cosmology.
Mm.
You're all ready? Cosmology.
Torag.
Which god of Faerun is sometimes called the Morning Lord, a deity of dawn, renewal, and vitality? Which god of Faerun is sometimes called the Morning Bird, a deity of dawn, renewal, and vitality?
We get real quiet. Don't sell yourself short. The first season of Tales. How many times did Poppy kill zombies? Yeah.
boom, Alan.
Yeah.
Aiden. Goodness, Aiden.
Dang,
Wow.
Aiden.
And he's spelling them correctly, too, and capitalizing them.
All right. Who's got Aiden's phone and what have you done with him?
Aiden is correct with Lathander. Lathander, the god of light and goodness and all things that are nice and wonderful. But, that's Faerun. It's a pretty nice place. I mean, if I had to choose all of the D&D realms to go live in, I think Faerun's the one I would choose. I mean, there's no...
Oh, for sure.
There's no major. Yeah, granted, every 9 months there's some disaster that almost befalls it. But fortunately, heroes are always there to answer the problem.
It's only on the Sword Coast, though, so you're fine.
That's right.
Just live inland.
I move out to Mulholland or on the we're good. Either the Sword Coast or the Moonsea region. The Moonsea region also gets it pretty bad.
Yeah.
I want to go. I'll move down to Chult where it's safe. There's only dinosaurs there.
Yeah. Those jungles are fine. It's just pretty bad when, like, the spine of the world is like the vacation spot now.
But even then, I mean, and always there's a disaster. But you notice that, like, Waterdeep is always fine. I mean, Baldur's Gate got hit pretty hard in the Baldur's Gate one, and of course Neverwinter got a mountain dropped on it basically when Hot No blew up. And Callum Shan has always got all these these crime lords. So I think Waterdeep is where you'd want to live. That seems like the safe bet. There you go. Lathander was a huge part of our Saturday. Yeah, it was. That's because we played. Yeah, we also had we were facing off against Tharizdun. So yeah. Well, Waterdeep, and also Waterdeep has those big giant statues. that I think
Yes,
defend really well too. So that helps.
I like the story and the history of the statues, and they really poured into that a lot with the Choose Your Own Adventure they had for Waterdeep book. It wasn't Choose Your Own Adventure. It was the heist adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of worked. I mean, it was structured like a Choose Your Own Adventure book.
It was. I enjoyed Waterdeep.
It was like, are you playing in autumn? Cool. You go to the theater, then the lighthouse, then the docks, then the sewers. Oh, you're playing in the spring? Cool. You go to the sewers, then the theater, then the lighthouse.
Well, but it's also every season was a different villain.
Bad guy.
A different villain. You had either Xanathar or Jarlaxle, and I can't remember the other two. Aiden would know these because he's actually, I think, run all 4 of them. But the 4 seasons that you could do, and each had a different bad guy to go up against, which was kind of cool. Except for Jarlaxle, I don't ever think of Jarlaxle really as a bad guy. That was kind of weird. But Xanathar is definitely a bad guy. He is a beholder. I mean, he's the guy you love to hate. So
Right.
There you go. That's the one. Like
Be careful, Aiden.
Oh, Aiden's got to work. Okay, so you have been watching the Vox Machina, the song that Scanlan sings to
the male Sphinx.
To the Sphinx. That. Oh my gosh.
Good. It was really good.
It was so amazing. And a little twist from the way they originally did it. I love it. I love the fact that they made a little bit of change. And of course, having Sam be able to sing because he's amazing. And so that, and
what do you like so much about Michael? Is it the lyricality of it? Is it the emotional story that the song's telling?
I'm a sucker for musicals. I don't anytime any show bursts out in song. Let me tell you, my favorite Buffy episode ever.
Oh my God!
Was Once More with Feeling.
Once More with Feeling.
I tell you,
I tell you, that was the first Buffy episode that I saw.
No way!
They were like, you have to watch this, and I was like, I don't know, no, you've got to watch it. And that was the first one that I saw, and I didn't catch, the spoiler whenever Buffy starts to sing. That didn't have the emotional weight for me that it had for everybody else in the room, but I could still feel it so much that I started watching the show because of that.
And that was actually Joss Whedon wrote the music with, I believe, with his brother. And that inspired them also to do the Dr. Horrible sing-along blog, which I don't know if you've ever seen that.
It's amazing.
It's great.
Also incredible.
Don't just listen to it.
Yeah.
I was literally talking to someone today, and they're like, "Oh, I love it," and I made a reference to the briefcase with the Wonderflonium, and it says "Do not bounce."
Yeah.
And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Ian from Anthrax, the lead singer of Anthrax." And he's like, "What?" I'm talking about Dr. Horrible. And I'm like, "So am I." And I was like, "Oh, you've never actually seen it, have you? You got to watch Dr. Horrible. It's
100%.
Yeah. I am.
These are not the Hammer.
See, these are not the Hammer.
Brooke, more to your question that you asked Michael, I'll answer that. What I like so much about Scanlan singing was I'm a sucker for the well, obviously I guess the Rogue with the Heart of Gold thing, and it was there's a big turning point in season 2 with Scanlan and something that the Sphinx says to him, and something the other Sphinx says to him, and Pike and her looking over her shoulder, she walks away at him, and it's all coming together. Everything's coming up Scanlan.
Yeah, well, and all of the one thing I love about season 2, and I think it's because when you write a season 1, and this is for any creator of a television show, you write it hoping you'll continue on with the story, but you can't be guaranteed of that. You don't know what this. So season 1 was an encapsulated story. When they gave him a season 2 and immediately a season 3. They went, okay, now we can really start telling the story that leads us to where I can start seeing in season 2 where they are going with the show. And it's obviously going toward the end of their own campaign. So I see these little tiny pieces of it in campaign 2 that's leading them toward, and the the thing with Vax, I'm like, oh,
The thing
I
with
do
the
not
thing,
mind with this. I do not mind spoilers whatsoever, but I'm
well,
the guy
the
who
audience.
hasn't read the book and is coming to the movie for the first time, right? So like my Critical Role exposure is itty bitty. Like I know just enough
well, okay,
that,
I can tell you,
so I'm super excited about it.
and this might be a little bit of a spoiler, but it kind of happens almost
That's okay.
immediately. It happens almost immediately, first episode or fourth episode because it has to. He makes a deal with the Raven Queen.
Yeah.
And he gives himself over to the Raven Queen as her champion. That one thing has repercussions to the very end of the campaign.
Yeah.
And
that's the storytelling you want.
Yeah. As soon as it happens, I'm like, as soon as it happened, I was like, oh my gosh, that was it.
Here we go.
That's the moment that leads
to. No, as soon as Percy walked over and touched that sarcophagus, that's where it started. Percy, because in the show, if you watch season 1 of campaign 1 of Critical Role, Percy triggers a trap that does a thing that makes him do the thing, and then there's the Raven Queen, and it's good stuff.
And
I know.
That final episode, I got to say, because the final episode of campaign 1, it's worth it to watch just the final episode of campaign 1. Just the emotions of it. It was so phenomenal. And I was disappointed in campaign 2 did not give me the feels that campaign 1 did. And it almost felt like campaign 2, they were kind of pushing to try to make those feels happen. And campaign 1 was so natural. Everybody was feeling it. And it was, they were feeling it like we all felt it in episode 68 through 70. That's how much they were feeling it in the end of campaign 1. So as soon as that happened, I was like, oh my gosh. And then setting the thing for Caliph and her mom, which doesn't only set up not only sets up the campaign 1, but campaign 2. Also being in that they're going to do on Prime.
We got sweet, Michael. We got the Traveler.
Was that the Traveler?
It was that. Yeah, it was the Traveler.
Okay, I was wondering if it was. But he doesn't show up in campaign 1 at all.
He doesn't. But it's just Matt. It's Matt Mercer having fun.
Okay,
because it is. I feel like they're going to go into campaign 2 with Amazon. They're making huge deals with Amazon.
Yeah, Amazon's already said that Mighty Nine will have its own show as well. And
if they do a live action film, I could see Mercer playing the Traveler.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. Oh my gosh! But
spoilers.
Yeah,
I love that Billy Boyd was in it.
I know Billy Boyd was fabulous.
Yeah, the minute I heard him, I was like, "Oh shit!"
That's what I was like. Wait a
minute. We're scaling right now. Look at this.
I know this voice. Why does this sound like Pippin?
Yep.
Yes. It was great having Billy Boyd in it. The number of voices that they've gotten for this show are just phenomenal, and it just sets. I think it just sets the tone that hey, a D&D show works.
100%. Like the geekdom and the way that gobbled up, and when season 1 came on and it just slammed the meter, of like downloads and people streaming. It's a home run for nerdage, and we love it.
Yeah, of course. We already knew that D&D would work on television because of Game of Thrones.
Yep, 100%.
Game of Thrones was a huge seller, and people were buying it. But they were doing that almost 10 years ago. That show's almost 10 years old, and it's only now are we starting to figure out that we could be doing this, So, come on, D&D, figure it out.
House of the Dragon, even
so good. I'm looking forward to more D&D stuff that comes out. I think it'll be good, and hopefully this movie will be really good. We find out a month and a half almost.
Yep.
We're going to see this movie, and just very, very excited about that. I have gotten Nintendo Switch Online,
No, you're
which
playing some retros, are you?
allows me. I've been playing Ocarina of Time.
Nice.
And it was so funny because I jumped right into it. I think earlier this week, well, actually on my birthday, I got a gift card for. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get it, and immediately jumped on and immediately started going to all the places I needed to go. No, it's just it. It's like it's muscle memory, but I
That's
haven't played
awesome.
in 25 years. So how I know where I'm supposed to go for this, just amazing that so I'm going through so quickly with it, but absolutely loving it, absolutely loving it. Really,
That's
really thrilled.
fantastic.
And I want to play some old school like NES Zelda maybe and Mario 64. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been fun.
Nintendo did a surprise thing yesterday. What do they call it when Nintendo does their announcements? Treehouse type thing. And yeah, they announced some pretty cool stuff. They're they're redoing one of the Metroid games. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty neat deal.
Yeah, I think the Tears of the Kingdom is still expected to come out in May.
They talked about that.
Which, of course, I'll definitely get that. As my love of Breath of the Wild was phenomenal. Of course, I borrowed it from my son, so I don't have my own copy of it. So I'm looking forward to getting Tears of the Kingdom and actually playing that one.
So I kicked up my PlayStation Plus account to the PlayStation Plus Premium, and I did a playthrough. I did a playthrough of this game from a disc years ago, but I downloaded because it's on there free and started a second playthrough of The Last of Us.
Oh wow! Yeah.
Oh
yeah, it's been great. It still scares me.
Good.
I have to take it out later. But there was this part where I literally screamed.
Oh.
I jumped, Amanda jumped, the cat jumped. And it was on the dumbest part too. It was on one of the dumbest parts.
As long as the furniture didn't jump, you're good. So,
It just
we killed the furniture.
But, yeah, I played it. So she's watching me play it. She's never played it or anything, and I got right up to where they meet the character from the latest. I don't want to spoil anything. But
are you watching the show on HBO?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't seen the show. I didn't play the game. I'd like to see the show, but I haven't gotten around to it.
It's great. It's really good stuff, and it's like a zombie show. You've got to worry more about the people who are the survivors than the zombies, kind of thing.
Right. Right.
They're doing their own twist on a couple of things here and there, but there are images on the internet that are shot for shot comparisons. One where he's just standing in the street and talking to someone, and then it shows that same scene from the video game. It's the same brick wall, the same door frame is the same color, chipped in the same spot. He's got the same backpack strapped on. It is amazing the detail they're going through. There was a scene in the first episode where I felt like it was a cutscene, and I was getting ready to pick my controller up and start playing because the cutscene was going to end and there was action. Yeah, it's so good, so great.
I wonder because it's been successful. It's really working, and I'm wondering this might be the first video game TV movie that's really been as successful as it is.
Mm-hmm.
There have been several attempts, but nothing is. And some of them have worked somewhat, but
Resident Evil was
that's what I'm saying. And Resident Evil is probably the best, closest, but even then, it's still what I understand. Last of Us is just incredibly popular, probably far more than Resident Evil was. And so, if we can show how to do video games or adapt video games for the screen, more power to them, because video games are so story driven now anyway. I mean, just amazingly story driven.
I was going to ask Johnny, having, watched and played, do you think what is causing that popularity to transcend? Is it the story, or is it the action?
Well,
what do you think it is?
You gotta imagine there's two people watching the show: the people who played the game, the people who didn't.
Sure.
Everyone I know that's watching it has played the game, and they're loving it because it is so on top of the game, and they're getting that feel of like, yeah, I remember playing this. I can't wait to see how they handle this situation or handle this situation, and move things along. And like there's like right when it started, every time a character comes on screen, I'm like, I know when and how they die.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, it's kind of when and how they die. I mean, it's yeah. I watched an episode where someone died, and then I jumped in the game and played up to that person dying and was like, holy crap. There was a slight difference, but everything up to that slight difference was it, Yeah. And it was amazeballs. The people who I don't know. I haven't really tried to look at it through a lens of I have no idea what's going on. It's just The Walking Dead on HBO.
Yeah. Were you expecting it to be this good, or was there worry when they announced that The Last of Us was coming that they were doing? Because being a fan of the game,
The Last of Us Part 2 is so terrible and just
the second video game.
God! So when they announced the show, it was like, oh my God, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with the show? If that's what they did to these characters, because it's the same characters in Part 2. If that's what they did to these characters in Part 2, what the hell are they going to do with the show? So far, pleasantly surprised. I didn't watch it with some anticipation because, like I said, I didn't make it through half of the second episode of Rings of Power before I was like, and was disappointed. But I just left it behind, and it is what it is. And the people who love it, that's amazing that you do.
Sure.
It just wasn't for me, and that's why I didn't plan to do that with The Last of Us, but I was in halfway through the first episode. It's one of those episodes where they do a continuous shot. There's no cut, and there's a lot of movies that do that, going down a street or walking through a building. This does it as the zombie apocalypse is breaking out, ground zero, in the moment, from a small farmhouse all the way into the city. One continuous shot that doesn't break away, and it's just There's interviews in the after show where the girl in it was like, yeah, when you see me in the back of the truck terrified, because stuff is flying around me and we're driving insane and I could fling out of the car at any minute, I was literally terrified. And I'm like, that's art. That's how you do it. Yeah. It's good stuff. Check it out, Michael. It's good stuff.
That's cool. I'll have to check it. I'll have to check that out. Let's see. What else?
Why are you giving this advice knowing that he has at least 1 or 2 more sessions in the DM chair on Sunday?
Watch it in about a month.
Zombies pop out. And I tell you,
I just meant the players bring it because they are also terrified. Yeah. I mean,
I did get the humble bundle of the RPGs that actually
awesome.
Aiden bought the Pathfinder one, I bought the RPG one, but the monsters, there's a the Dreaded Accursed is one of the books that was on there, and oh my gosh, it is just an entire book of undead. It is just.
Is that the one that Cobalt Press did?
Is that Cobalt Press?
I think.
Yeah.
No, because it's bundle recently.
I don't know if it's Cobalt Press, but it's.
Okay.
But it oh my gosh, you could populate an entire world of just undead, it's got so many different versions of ghosts, wraiths, ghouls, and then a huge list of zombies. Of just different types of zombies. I'm like, oh man, you could have
zombies, slow zombies, crawling zombies,
the ragers,
gooey zombies.
But I love the ghouls and the ghasts. I think are the coolest things.
Ghasts, specters, phantoms, yeah,
and they have all of those in this called the Dreaded Accursed, and it's the same people. I don't know if it's Cobalt Press, but it's the same people who made the Revenge of the Horde. And the way the book is set up, they basically adapt current D&D monsters. They just change them. They do, and then they give you a list of how to do a horde of these creatures, and what the CR is if you just put them all together. And they do that with the undead too. It's like if you have 2 zombies and a vampire and this, it's CR this. And so you could just run an entire campaign with these encounters. The Dreaded Accursed, folks, if you get a chance, it is excellent.
It was
And
Nord Games.
what's that?
Nord
Nord
Games.
Games. And it is, like I said, it's a great book. Really dives you into just making encounters that you could have. You could make a horror campaign easily from just this one book. It's got so many good stuff in it. So
I'm nervous because I see Johnny Payne's brain on Blender chef mode right now.
Oh,
Just
no.
like a little bit
Oh,
of
no.
this and a little bit of that.
Mine's
and I'm
already
gonna do that.
mine's already inked and down. I'm ready to go.
I meant for the next one.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever. I don't know.
Curtis, a horde
I'm
of
started.
ghouls for Valentine's. Yeah. My bloody Valentine, baby.
Yuck. Ew.
Yeah, because everyone's always talking about making a good horror type of D&D game, and because horror is not easy to do. Horror is actually very difficult to do in a D&D campaign because you don't have that. And I know that was it Baldur's Gate that tried to do horror. Icewind Dale, I know, tried to do a little bit of horror, but it never really. It's hard to do. And it really takes. It's hard to do, especially from a book, a pre-written book. But a DM who does it, who maybe sets the lighting, who has the candles, who makes their own.
That is a big part of it.
Yeah.
I ran a game of Vampire the Masquerade 20 years ago, and I lived in an apartment at the time, and I had to literally walk people to their car when it was over. They were so terrified. But it was all candles, everybody wasn't on their phone. It was like focused really into it in depth. There's a great game called 10 Candles, and you turn all the lights off and you play with 10 candles. And it's one of those games where you
alone is creeping me out.
Everyone dies by the end of the game. It's just one of those games. But the way it started, I think I've talked about it on the show before. The way it starts is you all like use somebody's phone or a note taker, but you all record a message of, I heard like aliens popped up or whatever it is that's ending the world. And you laugh about it and that your reaction to hearing the news. But then at the end of it, you play no one gets to hear the messages until the end when everyone's dead. But there's 10 sections of the game, and in every section you blow out a candle.
Oh.
So it gets darker and darker and darker as you play the game. Yeah.
See, I never forget one. This is before I got married. I was sitting in my house and watching American Horror Story.
Oh yeah.
And I started I decided I was going to stream it because I really wanted to do this whole season on one sitting. So I started 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon and was watching and just kept on watching. And of course the sun went down. It got darker and darker. And I didn't recognize the fact that it had gotten darker. And so I got to the end and I'm like, okay, I'd gotten as far as I could go. It's time to go to sleep. So I turn off the TV and I go and I turn out the light. And it is completely pitch black. And I'm like, Stu, turn on the light.
Yep.
I'm a grown man, and there are still those moments when you have to walk down the long hallway, and you're just like,
and you hear the hotel from The Shining, that room, and the hall just gets longer and longer.
Mm-hmm.
Come play with us, Danny. Come play with us, Danny.
I mean, you want to talk about horror? When Doom 3 came out, I got it came out on my birthday, and I got a new video card, a new sound card, 5.1 headphones, and Doom.
Oh gosh!
So I run in and I'm setting it all up and everything, and I'm playing it, and it's the scene where you go to Mars, you go to the base station, and you pass by all these scientists, and then you get into the room as the mad scientist is opening the gates to hell, and all these demon souls come out. And you realize everyone I just passed is now a demon. So you turn around and you go back, and automatic doors are only partly opening. You start seeing bloody footprint. And the game was out for a month before someone created a mod that gave you a flashlight. So when it got dark, it got dark.
Oh my gosh.
You start hearing a voice that says, "They have my baby." And there's bloody footsteps on the ground. And in the world of Doom, there are these things called cherubs, and they're like little babies with wings, but they're monstrous. And sometimes they don't have legs or something. And so you go back to one of the doors that wouldn't open all the way, and when you pass it, and one flies out at you. Right as my roommate is coming in and putting his hand on my shoulder, telling me that he's done grilling and dinner's ready. I don't know what happened, but the next thing I know, I'm on the floor and everyone is in the doorway of this room looking at me, and I'm facing away from the computer. Apparently, I just defied gravity. I just went straight up in the air, spun around, hit the edge of my chair, landed on the floor. Yeah, I'm not ashamed to tell that story because that game grabbed me that much. I loved it.
And you were listening to it on surround
rare to
sound
find that these days, but it's good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
That was my. I've been scared a little bit, and then I screamed like a little girl the other night playing The Last of Us. On a stupid part. Stupid part. It wasn't even a zombie that scared me.
Of course, that's how I felt about that Five Nights at Freddy's.
I never did that. Yeah.
Oh my! I never played it. I just watched other people play it, and it was horrifying.
Yeah.
Do you know about Brooke? Do you know about Five Nights at Freddy's?
I do know about Five Nights at Freddy's. I've never played it, but I know.
Like I said, I've never played it, but that's. I mean, of course, the whole Chuck E. Cheese, them coming to life, anyway, is horrifying as it is. But the way the whole thing is set up, and the fact that you can't move quite right, and you look over at this vent. And then you look over at the door, and you look over at the vent, and now there's this thing inside right there. It's like, yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's. That's horrifying stuff. That's the show they need to make. Just right there, Five Nights at Freddy's.
We got 10 minutes, and I feel like I've talked the whole time. You guys talk amongst yourselves.
No, that was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Now, have you see? Now, I remember. Speaking of horror, I remember in 1984. I went to go see a little tiny movie starring one Sir Robert Englund as Freddy Krueger.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I was okay. I was okay until the first girl died, and she's in the bed, and she's getting. All of a sudden ripped because it's just supposed to be a dream, and all of a sudden she's actually getting ripped apart. I just about hit the ceiling. So
that one scared me to death too. I watched it at a sleepover of all the neighborhood kids, and I was the youngest one. We ordered pizza, and we were watching it on VHS, and I was okay because I've been exposed to horror movies. My parents loved horror. I grew up on it, but I was okay with that movie until the burnt footprints going up the stairs.
Oh yeah,
that's when I was like, oh, he's here. It's bad. This is it was that freaked me out.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street was, and of course that with starring Johnny Depp as well. The sound the sound of scratching on metal or chalk board is already just grinding, and so when Freddy would do that, it was already just that one scared me, and I don't necessarily get scared too much from horror stuff. I don't watch that much of it, so it's not like But that one really freaked me out back in 1984. So yeah, and then 100%. It kind of became cheesy after that.
My hair freaked me out in 1984.
Rudolph the
That's
Red-Nosed
fantastic.
Reindeer.
Music, as Andrew said in the chat, music is huge. I mean, there's in all its ways. If you have a scene, and you've seen them do it on the internet where they do like the Scary Mary Poppins where they flip it, or they add humor to, they add something humorous to something that's really dark. Like the music Foley soundtrack, it makes such a difference sometimes in the setting. And like if you can bring that into your games at home, that can be a big deal too. So
and there's also, that's one of the things that's about a horror film is also, and I've talked to actually horror directors when I've had them on the Okie Geek podcast, is how do you find that balance of you want to give a jump scare, but you also have to kind of telescope that something is going to happen. because like you focus on the electric outlet that's maybe sparking just a little bit, though none of the characters notice that. There's something that you telescope that something is about to happen. And that's where the balance is. Where do you find that balance of being able to foreshadow something's about to happen so that when it does happen, the audience is almost prepared for it, but then also be able to shock them. So and I think music helps do that because it helps build that tension that something is about to happen. And that's one of the things you can add to a movie or a television show, the music, that the characters are not going to notice because it's not ambient music. It's actual, soundtrack music. So and of course I've really tried to do that with Red Dirt, is to find the right music that makes people feel that. And I think we do that with episodes 15 and 16 when those come up. So
we do. I've got a note written on my little like things to talk about or possibly talk about in Roundtable. I've got a note about music because I thought you were going to do one thing and then didn't, and it would have broken kind of the theme, so to speak, if you had done this thing that I'll talk about in Roundtable. But for a moment I thought you were, and it also would have worked. It would have been very modern horror story if you had. So anyway, teaser once again. Woohoo! Roundtable.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Well, the song "We'll Meet Again," don't know where, don't know, and which was supposed to be kind of a happy when it was done back in like in the 40s. Was supposed to be kind of a but now it's almost 100%. Always used in that kind of disturbing, that we're all about to die type of moment. And so I love it when they use music like that doesn't seem to quite, it wouldn't normally have fit, but for some reason right now in this moment it fits perfectly.
My students,
Pop Goes the Weasel. Pop Goes the Weasel is always scary, Curtis. I'm always ding 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 ding.
The anticipation, Michael Cross.
When then Elf.
Scene. That was awesome.
Wasn't that a scene in Elf?
You were stressing me out as you were like,
I know. Have you guys seen Elf? When Will Ferrell is doing that, he's testing the Pop Goes the Weasel things, and he's like,
Andrew. The wedding march was the death march.
Yeah, the ending of Doctor Strangelove. Yeah,
that's the Imperial March. That's a great example. The ending of Doctor Strangelove. You bet. So, gosh, that was good.
Oh my gosh, we've got 3 more minutes left. Okay. So you're on YouTube, folks. You should be watching Secrets of Monster Island. It's on every Monday.
Yeah.
Andrew, Aiden, we're all on there, along with Derek Rusnick and Mark Coffrin, and having a lot of fun. Could be coming to a closing on this campaign. We're at level 12, so I'm guessing at some point we're getting really close to an ending, because most games don't. Although I know that Aiden could take us all the way to level 20.
Yeah, you got 8 more levels to go. Come on.
You can do it.
The problem is not as much fun when you're basically gods.
You're not gods at level 20. What game are you playing? Get out of here.
You cannot. Do you know how hard it is to kill a level 20 character?
There's always a bigger fish, Michael.
That's true. You could throw 2 ancient black dragons at us, and
you could make up a creature and throw it at you.
Yep.
It could be another level 20 adventurer that has items you don't.
Yeah, or just throw 5,000 kobolds.
Yep.
It would take a while, but yeah. Now you're thinking.
Michael, you have the book for this. You can just do Horde of Black Dragon Zombies. You got this.
Yeah. Dracoliches. And that was the other category in this book of Dreaded Curse, was just a bunch of liches. There's a ton of them. And it was kind of, they got them set up kind of like the dragons, where there's the youngling, the young, adult, and ancient, that those are the levels of lich. So you could actually throw low-level characters, a lich with low-level characters, and make them face off against this lich because it's a CR like 5. So that'd be a lot of fun. But we're giving
game balance.
We're giving Johnny ideas.
Leveling all.
Just a harmless little bunny. Hal says in chat, what could be wrong?
You know, Twitch is level 6, and then we'll figure it. I'll do logistics.
Yeah.
So it's 8 o'clock, Michael Cross.
It is 8 o'clock, guys. Thank you so very much, everybody out there. Curtis, Andrew, Aiden, Hal, Dunick. Thank you guys so very much. Tune in 2 weeks. You've been watching Plausible Deniability. I'm Michael Cross.
Johnny Payne.
I'm Brook Bullock.
Thank you guys very much. You guys have a great night, and we will see you in 2 weeks. Bye-bye.
Cha-cha.